Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Chilluminati podcast, episode 267. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Mike Martin. Today, joined by the Vovan and Lexus of LA, Jesse and Alex.
Vovan?
Vovan and Lexus.
Yeah. Vovan?
Vovan. V-O-V-A-N.
Vovan.
And Lexus?
Lexus, yep. Just like that, you would spell it for the car.
Right,
but I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, this is above my pay grade.
Yeah, it's a Russian comedy duo known for their prank phone calls to other celebrities. They were accused of being Russian state actors.
Cool. Awesome.
Nice.
Great.
I'm Volva. Yeah.
Yeah, you're Vovan?
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
There's no really that bit can't go. Yeah, there's no that bit can't go anywhere.
You're more Lux than me. Like Jesse's like across the sea. Like he's like in England.
True.
Like right now, he's in England right now.
Yep.
He's definitely Lexus.
Or is he? Or is reality nothing more than a projected hologram of the fourth dimension on a three-dimensional space? And he could be anywhere and everywhere all at fucking once, huh?
He said he's Carmen Sandiego, and I think I think it's funny that you should say that because Carmen Sandiego wears a red coat, and it is time, ladies and gentlemen, to begin part one of a four-parter about the red stone. Just kidding.
Dude,
you got hoaxed.
I'd be like,
you got hoaxed. You got hoaxed. You got hoaxed. It's actually time for Game Show 8H. Yay! Look at this pageantry.
Dude, it's been months since I haven't had to do an episode, and of course, Alex just starts with chaos. You even skipped the Patreon show.
No, I didn't. Game Show 8H. That's right. That's what it's called. Game Show 8H. It's called the Game Show that buys me time. So here's the deal. I'm married now. My wedding planning and husband becoming duties are done, right? And now that I have time to do research again, the resolution to this long-winded mystery that I've been concocting over the past however long, regardless whether you care about it or not, I've been doing it over the past few months. It's about to resolve. The end is in sight, and there's a lot of special guests along the way and a lot of stuff that's cool that's coming soon. And indeed, because above all, we love our listeners here on the Chilluminati podcast, the name of the game during this game show themed gimmick episode is Substance. The name of the game is Substance. So today we're going to be revisiting all the 8H topics so far in my little progression. Okay. We're going to play a quick little game show segment for each one, a quick game show segment, and then almost like Unsolved Mysteries updates, we're going to get some actual brand new juicy good information about each topic as we play. And if you win this game show, you are competing against each other in addition to an incredible actual prize that dwarfs the previous game show's prize. Much more valuable than prizes past. I will give you a clue to where this is all headed also. Now that we're back in the cycle, if you stick around until the mini-sode, available now at patreon.com/ChilluminatiPod, I will fully explain my far too grand Zodiac ARG plan that nobody solved and how crazy involved it got before I stopped working on it. So that's a whole thing that you can look forward to. You can learn how crazy I am and what the whole Zodiac thing was when I was doing the Zodiac episodes recently. You can learn all of that. Patreon.com/ChilluminatiPod. See, I didn't forget about Patreon. I gotta spice it up. I had to juice it up. So players.
You need to give it a little zhuzh.
So players, Lexus and Mathis, are you ready? Are you ready for round one?
That is a dog trying to call this whole thing off. Like, stop before it's too late. Help, please, help. Stop.
No, here it is. Round one is called Hidden, and it is about the Battelle Institute.
Thank you so much to today's sponsor, IQBar. IQBar has become my like bread and butter. Well, not my bread and butter. I guess it's become my breakfast. I never really ate in the morning. A lot of that is because I'm exhausted and I just don't have the energy to cook or put something together. But with an IQBar, I'm feeling refueled, I feel nourished, and it satisfies that hunger with none of that sugar crash. Pair that with their IQ Joe, which provides energy without caffeine jitters thanks to magnesium, which also helps boost focus and mood with its magnesium and lion's mane blend, and my morning is already taken care of with minimal effort and maximum deliciousness. My go-to, honestly, is just grabbing the Ultimate Sampler Pack. It's a great way to try all their IQBar products and flavors. You get 7 IQBars, 4 IQ Mix Sticks, and 4 IQ Joe Sticks. There's not a single flavor I hate, so I just grab that. Sure, I may prefer, like, my favorite might be the blueberry lemon, or the peanut butter one's really good too, because I'm a peanut butter boy, but I like all of them and I just want to have a variety in the morning. They have 9 satisfying flavors: mint chocolate chip, chocolate sea salt, banana nut, toasted coconut chip, lemon blueberry, peanut butter chip, and more. They also have a limited edition raspberry lemonade while supplies last with their IQ mixed drink sticks. And right now, IQBar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off of all IQBar products, plus you get free shipping. To get 20% off, just text CHILL to 64,000. That's it. Just text CHILL to 64,000. That's CHILL to 64000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details.
And the game that we are playing is Hangman. Okay? You guys know how to play Hangman? You guys guess. Sure. You guys guess a word and or a letter, and I will tell you whether or not it's in the word. And I'm going to give you the shape of the word now in the chat so you can see it.
All right.
Just like this.
It's very involved for our listeners.
Yeah, it's okay. They don't have to follow along like that.
So it's more of a phrase than a word.
Yeah.
It's three words. It's 3 words, but it's one thing.
Sure.
It's 3 words, but it's one thing. That's what I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And
all right.
Are you going to update this, or should I get a pen?
Yeah. Do I need to manually track this shit?
I've got look. Give me some credit. Look, give me some credit. If there's one thing that I do well, it's getting overcomplicated. So let's just kick back, relax, have faith in the fact that you're going to get an incredible prize if you win, and let's play some motherfucking Hangman.
Before we do,
sure.
For those at home who are curious, it is 5, 3, and then a number that I don't want to count.
I think it's 12.
There you go.
It's 12. 5, 3, and 12. That's how many letters, okay?
Yeah.
So now, Jesse, if you please, any letter of the alphabet. Least misses wins the point.
A.
There are 2 A's.
Very nice.
Okay, so I'm going to update the A's.
2 A's. The 1 A in the first word, second letter, and 1 A in that third word?
Somewhere in that third
like
word.
Like 7 in-ish.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
It's the 8th position. It's the 8th position.
Close enough.
Mathis?
I'm going to go with T.
I like T. T is
good.
There is
no T.
Wow.
Mathis has 1 miss, and now our little man has legs.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, so you can see.
You're not starting with the head first?
No. I usually start with the circle up top.
Here's his legs. Okay,
or the scaffolding.
You can see those are just legs. Look, it's a legs. Get it? Leave it? Love it or leave it?
I don't know. It looks like you're about to start making a pyramid, and I'm sure this is going to be like. Actually, the man was a green stone.
No. Okay, Jesse, what's your next letter? E. There are 2 E's.
Love it.
And vowels.
Both in the last word, 2 E's.
Both in the last word. Now, this last word, it isn't...
Battelle.
There's no T, though.
Yeah, none.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Mathis?
Second letter and 5th letter in the last word.
Let's go ahead and throw a B in there and see if anything happens.
A B? There are no B's. That's another miss from Mathis.
I'm just gonna choke on this rope here.
Our little guy, he's got a body now.
Oh, fuck.
You better be careful.
Damn.
Our little man has a body. Okay. Jesse.
Mathis, you did T and V?
B, like bees.
B. Then I will do C.
There are no C's. That's another miss for Jesse. And now, our little guy. Dude.
Damn, he's got hands. Oh, no.
This guy's in trouble, okay? Don't worry.
That's no good.
So, no C's either. Okay, Mathis, what do you got?
I'm trying to, let's see. What about O?
Oh, there is 1-0 in the second
that.
position.
Love that.
Got something.
In the second position of the second word, there is an O.
Okay.
What?
You asked.
Uh-huh.
There it is. Second position of the second word is an O. Okay. Jesse.
Is there a Y?
There is no Y's. That's another miss for Jesse. We are on to, he's got boots. Our little guy. I'm going to put boots on him.
Oh, wow. He just gets clothing.
He has, look at our little guy now. He's got boots on. He's got like little Timberlands on.
This is a very visual gag for audio listeners.
Yeah.
No.
I'm excited for them.
If your eyes are in your head, you know, if you can imagine it, you can do it. Because I'm just like, the drawing is gonna be underwhelming if you're dying to see it. Don't build it up too much. Okay, just so you guys know, you guys just did TCBY for some reason. That's the frozen yogurt.
Is that it's frozen yogurt.
Mathis, what do you got?
I'm gonna go with N.
N. There are 3 N's.
Oh shit!
That's huge. That'll blow this open.
Yeah, that'll give us a little hint.
Lots of N's. Lots of N's in the third word. It turns it into N'n.
Yep. It does.
It does do that.
It does do that.
I'm
Okay.
staring at the word trying to figure
It
it out.
does do
in my
that.
head.
What do you got?
An S.
S. There is no S.
Wow.
There is not an S, and that puts. Oh man, you're getting close. You're like 1 away from. Oh no. You just kidding. You still have shirt.
I mean, I don't even like this guy, so it's fine.
Yeah, he
I don't even
deserved
know
it.
him. He could be a criminal. He could have killed 6 people upstate, for all I know.
He's got a shirt on now. Just barely. He's like Donald Ducking it with a shirt.
I feel like we are no closer.
I know. I can't.
Unless there's an L in there that like is helpful. I don't know.
If it helps, you're probably not going to get it. What's the next letter? What do you got?
Let's just go with that. Go with the one before N. M.
M.
I like M.
There are 2 M's.
Nice. That's good. I have no answers for you on this one. Did we already say I? I'll say an I.
That's always a good one too.
There is 1 I.
Okay.
The question is, where the hell is the...
This could do everything or nothing, honestly, with what we have here.
Yeah.
M-A blank I blank.
This is so good. I'm going to warn you guys. You have 2 left. 2 misses left. I can see the hangman. He's coming up the road. He's there's a little cloud of dust coming up.
That middle word is, I do not know what that middle word is.
I've been trying to figure out this middle word for such a long time.
I could not. It has an O in the middle and
What
no
the fuck?
L's, no M's, no N's, no T's, no U's, no Y's.
If it makes you feel any better, you're not going to get this.
I mean, it doesn't. If anything, then that means this is an entire waste of time.
No, what you're trying to do is miss less letters.
Have we guessed F?
You have not.
F is good.
I'll go with F. Let's try F.
F. There are 2 F's.
Good work. Good work.
All
That's
right.
nice.
All right. It's like FOF. FOF. Mm-hmm. What is it?
The question is, where are the F's?
Yeah.
I swear to God, if... What?
How is that the... What? It's...
F's are at the end.
All right. First off, is this a real word?
It refers to a real thing. This is the name of something.
Is it a real word? Are
Like, it
all
exists.
3 of these real words?
They're words.
Real in the dictionary words.
No way.
Okay, so me looking at M-FF trying to figure out what would fit in there is nonsense because none of this is real, and this is all insane gibberish.
All you have to do is miss less letters. You can look at the shape of the word, you can guess.
None of that matters to me. I just want to know.
It's just a game. Just a little game. It's a little game to get you some nice trivia that I'm
we
going to
just
tell
do
you.
this?
What's the only vowel we haven't used yet? You?
No, we used you, didn't we?
Oh, we did?
No.
We did A, we did B, we did C, we did E, we've done F. I'm just gonna go down the list. G, baby.
G?
Yeah.
There are no G's. Our guy now has alien antenna on his head. And I can see right now, it's like crazy what's happening. These guys are building this thing, and it doesn't look good for this guy. It doesn't look good for him.
We said we guessed L.
It doesn't look good. Like, look what happened. They built the thing next to the guy.
Wow, they're really.
If his head comes in there, if there's one more miss, like, it doesn't. I think this guy's gonna die. I think this guy's gonna die. What do you say? What do you say, Mathis?
Let's go with P.
P.
Yeah.
There is one P.
Damn.
Ow! Where?
What's hilarious about this is I started off with, like, I'm going to try and spell something, and Mathis is just randomly guessing and winning, and it's driving me crazy. I'm literally infuriated.
That's how you're going to feel when the aliens end up being real one day. You're going to be...
I will be equally as upset. Yeah, I'll be like, come on, guys.
The last 5 letters of this word are AMPFF.
What?
What do you got, Jesse?
Yeah.
I don't care. K.
K?
Yeah.
Wait. K?
K.
There is 2 Ks.
See, random guessing is just, it works a little better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just get a randomly guess now.
I want to know what this is.
I'm worried the last bit's going to be Kampf, and I'm not okay. I'm not liking this. Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah, it is. You are correct.
M-A-I-K. The middle word is still -O-. No idea what that is. And then Rennenkampff.
There's a disparity here. I'm so sorry.
We deserve a limb back.
Okay. I'll take one of the antenna off.
What's the disparity?
Yeah, I'm curious where actually the disparity is.
There's actually one more N.
Oh, man. That does. Okay. Did we guess J already?
Nope.
I'm going
I would
with J.
assume that's... I would assume that's what that is.
You're going J?
Yeah.
There are... No J's!
Okay.
What, bro?
Okay, I drew the antenna back on.
You saw where I was going, yeah. Antenna's back.
I was thinking magic.
Yep,
right?
yep. That's exactly where I was going to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Majestic 12 was like where my brain was kind of going, but no.
I drew the antenna back on. Did you see?
Thank goodness.
J.
No, yeah, man.
Okay.
No G.
Nope.
No V's.
Nobody said V.
Yeah, I haven't said V. I said P.
I am hoping it's a V. I'm going to say V for Vaughn.
V? Mm-hmm. There is one V.
All right, you got it.
I'm hoping it's a Vaughn, and this is a guy's name.
It's got to be some name.
Yeah.
And I feel like I should know the name.
If it's Mavic, I'm going to be pissed off. All right, we're good. Okay, we're good. It's Vaughn.
Fuck. So what do we? So what the fuck?
So you have one miss left before you're dead. You can't miss again.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this: both of those letters, same letter. So you get one. There's just one more right answer.
Okay. We got to work on this together here. What the last one? Have we said R?
Nope.
It has to be. It has to be R.
That's where I'm just.
It has to be
go
R.
through the rest.
It has to be. It's the only other thing that makes sense in language. It has to be the R.
Final answer R.
Could it potentially be Z though? Mazik von Rennenkampff?
Question, Alex.
Yeah.
If he says Z, do we lose?
Yep.
Z?
Go R. No, fuck that. Go R.
No, yeah. I'd say we go R. Let's just do it.
All right. The answer is correct. You did not die.
Good work.
Very
good work, dude.
Look at
that.
that.
We did it together.
Good work.
And Mathis earns the point for that round because Jesse missed 4 and he only missed 3.
Damn.
Barely.
That's that's the exact risk of going first. How about that? So who is this person? So according to The Hill, who published his opinion piece, "The Pentagon is Lying About UFOs," quote, Marik von Rennenkampff serves as an analyst with the State Department's Bureau of International Security and Non-Proliferation, and he was an Obama administration appointee at the U.S. Department of Defense. First, I'm just going to read a kind of long quote he wrote about the hearing last July with Grush and the 2 pilots, okay? In one remarkable exchange, Representative Matt Gaetz from Florida described how his office received a protected disclosure from Eglin Air Force Base, Florida, regarding a January 2023 UFO incident over the Gulf of Mexico. After being stonewalled by the Air Force, he delivered a tense, on-base reminder to the military about, quote, how authorities flow in the United States of America. The Air Force relented, permitting Gates to review sensor data gathered during the encounter. According to Gates, fighter pilots tracked 4 unknown objects flying in a clear diamond formation. Notably, the incident occurred on a training range typically conspicuously free of any airborne clutter. Still imagery indicated that one of the objects demonstrated capabilities that Gates, who has served on the House Armed Services Committee for nearly a decade, was, quote, not able to attach to any human capability, either from the United States or from any of our adversaries. Radar data, according to Gates, showed that the 4 objects moved in a very clear formation with equidistant separation. That's a quote. As Gates noted, and further documentation confirmed, the fighter jet's radar stopped working as the jet closed within 4,000 feet of one of the objects. The jet's infrared camera malfunctioned too, requiring the pilot to take still images of one of the unknown objects manually. And basically, he writes that in that case, we're back talking in my words again. He writes that in the case resolution report from October of last year, which was finally released in April, and which you can see here, I'll give you the link to that one. This is the 7-page report that was cleared for publication in April. They conclude that with, quote, moderate confidence that this object was a, quote, large commercial lighting balloon. That's what we're talking about here. Is this thing that Matt Gates was witnessing was a balloon. Yeah, if that seems weird just after the stuff Matt Gates said, also consider this tweet from Mick West, who is a pretty big UFO skeptic. Right here, you can just one of you guys can read the tweet that he tweeted.
The Eglin UFO looks like a white sphere wearing a hat. The image on the left is the IR thermal image, adjusted the levels only. It shows a quite irregular hat, which is not really consistent with the lighting balloon hypothesis.
Yeah. So,
I am not a scientist, so I have no fucking idea. Maybe. Like, I don't know if
the point is just that this guy's a fairly diligent skeptic, right? He's like a fairly diligent skeptic who is like published.
Yes, Mick West is. Yeah.
Yeah. And, he's saying that he doesn't feel that it's a lighting balloon necessarily, or this description of it in a declassified summary from one of the pilots who saw it. I'll have Jesse read that right now.
I'm still okay. I guess I don't understand the last bit at even the least, but
what the lighting or something?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't either. I don't know.
Well, I'll show you a picture of what these lighting balloons are. And he's saying, because I have to say, it looks a lot like the picture of the lighting balloon that we have, but there's a lot of reasons to believe maybe it isn't. So, and I'll get into those now. So one of them is this description here, which Jesse's going to read.
Okay. UAP-1 likened to an Apollo spacecraft in size and shape, with an orange, reddish, illuminated, rounded bottom, and the top section a 3-dimensional cone shape comprising gunmetal gray segmented panels.
So that's not at all.
That just sounds like a Apollo lander type thing.
Yeah, but that's not at all what this beanie thing looks like. And then probably most damning, here's a quote from Mathis to read.
But I just for the record, the photo is just a thing that's the top half is black, the bottom half is white, but everyone's like it's got a beanie. I don't know that I buy that bit.
Well, here, I'll give you this first then. Here's a picture of this balloon, like with some more quality to it. You can like look at it.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see what Mick West is kind of talking about.
Yeah.
And it's, it
looks like it, honestly.
It has like a beanie situation, but he's saying that
very much a beanie situation.
But he's saying the one that he's looking at in that small picture that he put in his tweet is like more irregular than the other ones.
And
it's also highly pixelated.
That's literally, I was going to say, like, it might be just because it's like the computer's blowing out the pixels just to like figure out the shape or whatever. Like that happens in photos. So, it could be either one.
But even then, even if that's not like enough to convince you, here is a quote from Mathis to read from where von Rennenkampff actually calls the lighting balloon company that makes these balloons and asks them what they think.
According to the firm, it is unheard of that such industrial grade tethered balloons would spontaneously float away. In a brief video, Emmy-winning lighting designer Matt Ford, who has used the lighting balloons in question, detailed the sheer absurdity of the Pentagon's explanation. The Pentagon, astoundingly, would have the American public believe that this seemingly impossible event occurred 4 times simultaneously. Meanwhile, dual sensor malfunctions aboard the fighter jet, one of which occurred only in close proximity to the UFO, remained unexplained.
Right.
Again, from the horse's mouth at that point, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
I also forgot that it was a formation of 4 of them, not just the one.
Exactly. There's several balloons vertically separated 1,000 feet apart each, which would make it super hard for them to maintain these sort of like crisp, like equidistant formations they're seen flying in and like that people are describing. Also, it's 80-mile-an-hour winds at this time, so it's hard to imagine them moving in these formations, which people were saying they were either not moving at all and staying in perfect formation, or
they were
moving like extremely slowly, like in a very, very controlled way. Even Gates said that this assessment is, quote, incomplete and does not reflect all the data I was shown, and wants the images and radar data released to the public. And the worst part is, it's not just the Eglin incident where this kind of treatment occurs, it's every time.
Yes, every fucking time.
Yeah. So going back to how this ties into the Battelle Memorial Institute, let's talk about that 63-page report that Mathis was yelling about in the mini-sode last week, which was a Congress-mandated review of U.S. government involvement with UFOs carried out by the Pentagon's UFO office. This report was heavily criticized by Christopher Mellon, who used to be one of the highest-ranking civilian officials at the Department of Defense. He wrote a 16,000-word piece of the debrief about it, and von Rennenkampff read that and highlights one particular issue in this quote, which I'll have Mathis read right now, that I think is very interesting.
Among the report's many flaws is an egregious falsehood about a rigorous scientific study that the Air Force commissioned in the early 1950s to look into the thousands of UFO reports that it had received. According to the Pentagon's UFO office, this report by the Battelle Memorial Institute found that, quote, all cases that had enough data were resolved and explainable, end quote. That statement is demonstrably false. The study, in fact, characterized as, quote, unquote, unknown, fully 33% of the UFO cases considered excellent.
Okay, so hold on. Let me give you that diagram really quick here, because it's easier to understand if you can see it. And all these links will be in the show notes. I promise you that.
Yeah, we're trying to...
Hey, how does someone get access to the show notes?
If you just go click on the damn thing in your podcast app, they'll be there, written in the description of the episode.
Okay, yeah, this is a crazy looking graph to look. Like, I opened this thing and I felt like I needed to understand like trigonometry.
Yeah, it's super weird, but it's about the quality of the cases is what the doubtful, the good, the excellent, and the poor. There's 4 categories, and it's talking about what percentage of those cases qualifying as excellent or poor or doubtful or good fall into various categories. And then the middle part is showing all the categories together.
Fully 33% of the UFO cases are considered excellent. To leap off that too, an interesting statistic, when the AARO was launched, their plan and the hope was that UFO sightings or reports would go down as they explained them, but the complete opposite happened. Like the first year they had 130 or so. The second year they had a little over 340. And by year 3, they were dealing with over 800 reports just for that year. Right. Like the reporting kept going up.
Yeah. So to walk you through what this chart is saying really quick, you can see excellent cases are cases that are multiple observers or trained observers and with sufficient information to come to a conclusion, right? They're
people
saying
in the cockpit
that
themselves understand the tools are operating kind of thing.
The report from the Pentagon says all cases that had enough data were resolved and explainable, right? Excellent is that category, right?
That's it, yeah. And and we know then, yes, that is false, as he's saying here. Yeah. But yeah, I'll keep going through the quote here. I'll finish off the quote. It goes, that is those involving trained or multiple observers and the sufficient information to come to a conclusion. And Battelle employed a particularly high threshold for designating a sighting as quote unquote unknown, requiring a group consensus among the evaluating scientists. The Pentagon's egregious misrepresentation of this analysis is of like kind with its so-called explanation for the Eglin Air Force Base incident. In short, the decades-long nothing to see here approach to UFOs continues unabated. I mean, to the ARO was similar. They didn't even have Title 50. He didn't look into the Nimitz case. He didn't look into so many other things. They looked into a very small handful and then basically clapped his hands and stood up and said, I'm done here. Yeah, it's just like, it's the same shit.
Exactly. But what's craziest is that even as these things are happening all the time and getting downplayed in this way where like just this report is literally just saying wrong shit, like just straight up has errors in it that are like completely recharacterized. They're saying every single case was explained, and actually over a third of them were not explained under a jury of a consensus of evaluating scientists that altogether decided that with enough data to come to a conclusion, that conclusion is that there is no way to tell what the fuck that thing is that they were looking at in the sky.
And that's a huge percentage.
That's a huge difference. A third to none is a huge difference in perception. So that stuff's happening all the time. But also, as that's happening, we have the Joint Chiefs of Staff at the Department of Defense putting out a directive noting anomalous incidents occurring, quote, in or near the territory of the United States, of its allies, and of its adversaries. And when they say that, what they literally actually mean is these exact same crazy things we're hearing about that Mathis is constantly yelling at Jesse about, doing things that we don't think any human craft know how to do. You know what I mean? And really acting. It's the ones that act really interested in the nukes and all the serious military shit. And if that sounds like nonsense, actually, here is a link to a bunch of different, real, well-documented examples of that happening that is in an article also written by von Rennenkampff. So that's there for you guys to peruse, and that's also going to be in the show notes.
Like as an example of like, just like it's all buried in paperwork nobody wants to read. The UAPDA itself alone was 64 pages of like shit that nobody wanted to fucking read.
But it's also kind of a shit report. It has like a bunch of problems. And regardless of what we believe about what these things are, the thing that I was trying to articulate last week in the minisode that this article puts so well is that while the government is technically acknowledging and responding to this shit, much more than they have in the past, right?
Yep.
Quote, the American public deserves truth, transparency, and far more analytic integrity than the Pentagon is currently demonstrating. That's all it is. It's like saying that it exists or that something is happening isn't enough if the stuff that you're putting out is going to be like in bad faith, filled with like terrible errors.
But it's like this weird situation where like it's acknowledged that it's happening, but they refuse to like research or put money into it and like put science to it
and take it serious.
Just brush it aside or do what they do. Yeah, like don't take it serious. But like if things are happening, isn't it science's job to go out there and try and disprove until we have the only thing left, which is the truth, instead of just sitting here and like everybody's being like, no, it's fake. No, it's real. These things are happening. We had a Last Week Tonight episode about it. The Daily Show had Lou Elizondo about it. NBC, CNN, all like these things are happening. So why aren't we fucking researching it? Why are we still playing this game of half shame, but half admit it now? And like, there's actual like whistleblowers, but nothing's being done. And then people just laugh at it more. It's like, whether aliens or not, there is something happening, and 33% of cases considered excellent is a huge number. I didn't even fucking realize was like
that's crazy. And like what that means, like already an excellent case, all of them are excellent cases. So that means all of them have enough data, and a third of those, a group of experts decided were unknown.
Real quickly, going to the Hill article that was just linked. This is why I get upset when we cover this topic because it drives me crazy. This is a opinion piece by Rennenkampff about the shocking history of UFOs and nuclear weapons, which is great. It is a history of that. However, nothing in this opinion piece is related to modern day except for, hey, the government is citing things. So that's happening. But like most of this is the 60s and the 70s and the 80s.
The point is that it's been happening for decades and the government is aware of it.
That's the point I'm trying to make is that this conversation we're having has been happening for decades.
Yeah.
And it literally is the same conversation. We keep having it almost weekly now. And it's so frustrating because nothing is changing. It's just the same conversation over and over again. And it's driving me crazy because I'm like, we could talk about Loch Ness or something, dude. That'd be cool. Like every time we talk about aliens, it's like a dude said something and the government's hiding it. Yeah, no. Yeah.
But it's not a dude said something. It's papers from the government that show the research.
This is all different
real
paper
trails. And so when the UAPDA
I mean, that's
comes
been
up,
done before though. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Which is why we need to fund the UAPDA. We need money in the research. We need money with scientists looking into this instead of just consistently brushing it aside
What
and then
this-
just
yeah.
voting it down when it comes up.
What this stuff is, what these reports are, even though they're very similar to each other, is us trying to document these things in the modern day so that people see them. Like you're saying, like, why don't we see stuff from now about these nukes? It's like, these are these stories. These are us looking at the government facts and saying.
But I mean, that is you brought up the question, why don't we see stories now about them going to the nuke sites?
Because we have to FOIA the documents. And for example, Green Street a couple weeks ago got a document he FOIA'd over 10 years ago, 2 weeks ago.
It seems
Because
like
it
it's
takes
too scary now. It
fucking
seems like
forever.
it's too scary for them to share now. That's what
Like,
it seems
they
like.
took them
Based
10
on
years, like,
how how it's like now classified to have those pieces of information. It seems like if it's, the way that it's happening now is scarier or less for public consumption than it was before.
Yeah, you have to FOIA request the shit, and then they
they're
have to
also
hand it to you.
sharing more than ever before.
Yeah, they are
sharing, but it's still redacted.
They are, but
Like,
that's exactly what I'm saying. Is as they're sharing, there's documents that are coming out that have like a bunch of lies in them that have like, and I'm not saying poor research. I'm saying like it seems very clear that like something like this is meant to change your perception of what you're reading to draw a different conclusion, which is
But
strange.
they've always done that, though, right?
I
Agreed.
maybe they have, maybe they haven't, but they're doing it right now, right?
Well,
Like,
I mean,
I'm pointing to a specific time when it's actually happening right now.
Sure.
That's it.
There's a lot of like hype, but this is like getting hype over the same things we've been getting hype over for like decades.
I'd say it's more frustration and like a desire to see like the UAPDA pass, like actual movement in the research front.
Yeah, the Battelle Institute episode was about this exact thing. And so for me, this time, this editorial, it's just from a couple months ago. To me, it's interesting because the evidence is just right in front of our nose in the report that we are looking at, like that we've been asking for, and it's there for everyone to see. And I'm just pointing at it and going, there it is, just like this guy is. That's it. Like, I think like if people were listening last week and were interested in like a little bit more like paper trail stuff about it, I think this is going to be satisfying to them.
Yeah. I would highly suggest go reading the UAPDA. Again, it's 64 pages, but it's out there to read, and it's just worth reading what they want to do, where the funding is going to go. And we learned the other day it was Rand Paul who was the one that was the deciding person to keep the UAPDA out of the funding. And when he was asked about it, he's like, I don't know. It just didn't seem like good. And then he just kind of like did a bunch of I don't knows. Like, I didn't realize it was that important to people or whatever. So
I wouldn't say that's sinister. Rand Paul's just a
just
piece
like,
of shit.
Yes,
So like,
he's just saying,
Rand Paul.
I truly think it's not a sinister thing. I just think he's like, it's money being spent. It's money being spent. No.
I just think he sucks. But
Yes. Yeah. But hey, we just learned that's, at least we got a name as to who said no.
I'm with you that I think funding these kinds of things would be amazing, and yet is about voting and stuff like that. However, I'm also not even convinced if the right people got in that we'd get anything new. So,
I mean, that's always the other issue.
This is like those people that like don't want to vote though. Like this kind of vibe. It's like, yeah, but like the thing to do is to like talk about it when it happens so that it's like in current events.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the best way to get it on the ballot and get it funded and get it talked about more by.
I mean, it's definitely too late to get anything on the ballot at the moment.
Well, not for right now, but I just mean all the time keeping the conversation going is part of the responsibility of people who care about this. Yeah.
I do have a question, and I want to put this out there to people who we are clearly being very U.S. focused. Is there anything from other nations around the world that would give us better information or understanding? Because clearly, if they're going to U.S. nuke sites or they're over U.S. airspace,
it's global.
there are other
It's
countries
global.
that are dealing with this.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like every conversation we're having is like, the U.S., what's going on in the rest of the world? Send us real things, not some, like, my cousin took this photo of an alien. Like, no. What is really going on overseas? And
Yeah, I don't think this is a hoax. But I would love to hear what you think in another country compares to what we're saying about America.
2 years ago in 2022, Canada, their UFO investigative branch on the government opened up a little bit more publicly with some of their stuff and whatnot. So it's like out there. And we know Mexico is heavily like UFO stuff, but like that was more of like that public wasn't really a congressional
a clown
hearing
show.
in Mexico. It was more like a town hall
show.
almost.
was
Yeah, it
nonsense.
was very much a clown show. Yeah, it was a lot of clown show.
General vibe check for the rest of the world as well. Usually when UFO uptick things happen or concern about them, it's usually because life is stressful. Just look at the track record. It's always been the case. So my question is this again a US thing and we're just all like UFOs? Or in your country, do people care? Do they give a shit?
There's actually there's a government answer. They released a global map as to where the most UAP activity took place. And while, yes, on our coast, there's quite a bit, but we're not nearly the most active area. It's actually the coasts of Europe down to South America are like the more hotbeds for more UAP sightings.
I would love to know. Uruguay, Brazil, what's going on? Ecuador,
Dude,
what's the vibe?
Brazil UFOs are a lot more violent for some reason.
I'm just gonna say, if I was a UFO and if I was an alien who traveled 1,000 light years, I would go to Brazil. I'm not gonna lie. I go to Brazil, I'd be like, I hear Carnival is in session. Glorp. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That
And
checks
that's
out.
and that's UFOs. Now it's time for round 2 heavyweights. Yay! WWE
Yay!
Mysteries. Dun, 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 dun.
If you're watching video, you can see he's waving around a green paper fan and a don't know what is that. What is
Is
that?
it a unicorn? I don't even know
It's
what
a
that
dog.
is.
It's a dog. I think that's supposed to be his tail, but it's like just looks like a dick coming out of his
It's
back.
like just looks like a dog got impaled on
Clicker on a
something.
pen. Don't worry about it. Round 2 heavyweights, WWE Mysteries. The game that we're going to be playing today is you are going to match the signature move
Oh no!
to the wrestler, except
Oh, boy.
all of these wrestlers have killed somebody. Whoever gets it right,
With
gets it
their
right.
signature move?
No. This is just a signature move that belongs to that wrestler, and each of those wrestlers has killed someone.
Oh boy.
Cool.
So here we go. Number 1. There's only 3 of these.
Okay.
And remember, like, the reason that we did WWE Mysteries I love is because kayfabe is like really interesting.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of like makes everything feel like a little hoaxy because you can't really tell when things are real or fake. So just keep that in mind. But that's not like a clue. I'm just being
When
literary.
he killed that person, it
I'm
was
just
all in
waxing
character.
poetic about mysteries, you guys. Okay. This move is called the Razor's Edge. Does it belong to Razor Ramon? Does it belong to Malik Blade? Or does it belong to the Executioner?
Wait, how do we?
You guys just each guess, and then somebody gets it right and somebody doesn't. Or maybe they don't, and I'll just tell you the answer anyway.
I'm gonna go with the last one you said.
I'll go with the first one. you
Okay,
said.
so
all right.
so Jesse thinks that Razor's Edge belongs to Razor Ramon, and Mathis believes that Razor's Edge belongs to the Executioner. Is that right?
Yeah, which I don't think that's true, but we'll see.
That's 1 point for Jesse because it does indeed belong to Razor Ramon.
You just overthought it, man.
Yeah, I did.
yeah.
Yeah.
In 1983, years before Scott Hall, who is also known as Razor Ramon, was known as Razor Ramon, he was a bartender at the original Dollhouse, which is a like titty bar but dudes, like gentleman's club type of place, like where
It's also a place where like memoryless assassins get hired.
Yeah, the dollhouse.
It has a THEE. It has like an old Englishy thing going on. I like it. But it's like a Chippendales. Is that what it's called? Chippendales?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. And he was a bartender there. And one night he got into it with a customer over a chick. And afterwards, the dude found him in the parking lot, busted his car windows, and a scuffle ensued. Here's a quote from Razor Ramon about it from ESPN for Mathis to read. Here we go.
I mean, it's burnt in my brain. Like I drilled him. He went down and his shirt went up and he was reaching for the firearm. So I reached for it too. We wrestled around with it for a bit. I took a shot. I shot him in the head.
And that's what happened. And he got off because it was self-defense. Because the guy pulled a gun on him and he took the gun away and shot the dude in the head. And it stayed with him his whole life and it fucked him up.
I imagine it would.
Yeah. On that note, the next one is the Punjabi Plunge. This move is called the Punjabi Plunge. Does it belong
I'm
to
gonna write that down for
Does
later.
it belong to Tiger Ali Singh, the Great Khali, or Sangha? Tiger Ali Singh, the Great Khali, or Sangha? Which one of them is famous for the Punjabi plunge?
Me at midnight.
I
have no idea. Sang.
Who?
That's my guess.
Who are they? Can you give me the names again? Who?
Tiger Ali Singh, the Great Kali, and Sangha.
Sanga's my guess.
Which one of them is?
The only one I know is the Great Kali. I have no idea who these other people are.
Yeah, me
So
either.
I'm
I
just
don't
going
know
to
any
say
of
Great
them.
Kali.
Great Kali, and you're saying Sangha?
Yeah.
The answer is the Great Kali. That's 2 for
Right.
Jesse.
All these people might as well just be cartoon characters for me. I don't know.
They
any of these
basically
people.
are.
Senga just sounds like a soft drink.
Yeah, it does. It sounds
Yeah.
exactly like Senka. In 2001, while training together at the All-Pro Wrestling Boot Camp, Kali and another wrestler named Brian Ong were practicing a move called the Spine Buster. Kali had been safely practicing the move with various wrestlers all day, but apparently, according to an article from 2004 by Sue Goldsmith, when it came to be Brian's turn, as he was falling, he grabbed Kali's shirt, which messed up the way he landed, and instead he, quote, hit his tailbone first, and his head whipped back violently against the mat, and soon after, he was taken to the hospital where he died.
Damn.
Brian's family had no idea he was even enrolled in wrestling camp before he died, and luckily they were able to find APW liable in court and won a lawsuit against them. But even still, most people consider Kali's part in the tale incidental, and the death is not popularly seen as his fault in any way, though technically he was the one to drop the guy, and he did it doing a spine buster.
Yeah.
Keep the party going. Up next, the next move is the Superfly Splash. The Superfly Splash. Does that belong to Hoss Funk? Does that belong to Jimmy Snuka? Or does that belong to Bobby Fish? The Superfly Splash.
What is it called?
The Superfly Splash. Does it belong to Hoss Funk, Jimmy Snuka, or Bobby Fish?
Oh, I have no clue.
Jimmy Snuka? Snuka?
I'm gonna say the first one.
Hoss Funk?
I'll go with Snuka.
I don't think that's a real person, but I like the name.
Hoss Funk? They're all real people. Hoss Funk, Jimmy Snuka, and Bobby Fish. You say Hoss Funk, Jesse. Mathis, you say Jimmy Snuka?
Yeah.
It was Jimmy Snuka. Mathis gets a point.
Hey, I got a point.
Jimmy Snuka had been wrestling one night in Allentown, Pennsylvania, again in 1983. And a few hours later, at the George Washington Motor Launch, he called an ambulance for his mistress, Nancy Argentino. He'd already been arrested for beating months before, while also fighting off several deputies who'd been called on him in the process. Nancy died from, quote, undetermined craniocerebral injuries consistent with a moving head striking a stationary object after she'd been moved to the hospital. And while the coroner immediately suspected foul play and the pathologist who conducted the autopsy suggested the crime be investigated as a homicide, Snuka never had any charges pressed against him, and Nancy's parents were only awarded a $500,000 default judgment in the courts, which Snuka never even paid, and the case was left open. Snuka was finally brought before a judge 32 years later in 2015, but the trial went on for 2 years while Snuka was diagnosed with stomach cancer and was deemed not fit to stand trial for mental deterioration as well due to wrestling injuries, and the charges were dismissed in January 2017, and he died like not even 2 weeks later.
Jesus, damn.
Pretty crazy. It's a dark world, the WWE. But let's leave it behind and move on to level 3.
Refresh. All right, feeling better.
Okay, so round 3 is Horse, which was, if you remember, about the Denver airport. And today...
Yes, big blue penis.
That's right, big blue penis. Oh, and first, let me give the points. Jesse won twice. Mathis only won once, so Jesse gets a point, bringing the full episode total into a tie, and we're on to the next 3x5 card, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Denver Airport. This game is called Denver Airport or the Walt Disney World Resort. Okay?
All
Winner
right.
gets a point. The official Denver airport opened in 1995. So to make things more interesting, we're also counting the Stapleton Airport, which serviced Denver too, and was not a small airport either. It was the 6th busiest airport in the country by the 1960s. If you remember, I did a very long-winded intro to the Denver airport episode that had to do with the Stapleton Airport. So you probably remember it from then. But this game is all about guessing whether the fact that I tell you is true of the Denver airport or the Walt Disney World Resort.
All right.
Okay. So similar to the previous game, but it's just a little
Just two
different.
choices.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Number 1. contains a human-sized tunnel system that expands over 9 acres and allows non-public traffic of all kinds to navigate using color-coded lines on the walls.
I'm going to say Disney.
That's what I was going to say. So I'll go the other way. I'll go airport, but I think it's Disney.
Okay, why are you going airport if you think it's Disney?
Keep the game interesting. Keep the game interesting.
Okay, I love that. That's chaos. That's sheer chaos. The answer is Disney. So that's a point for Jesse.
Morally, I took a point there as well.
You know what? I like that.
But I'm going to say this. The tunnels are called the Utilidor system, and they extend all throughout the Magic Kingdom and Epcot. And they're built in such a way that they're not actually underground, but the theme park is actually on a second floor. So even the underground part is above the ground because the swamp is like shit in Florida.
Yeah,
so like
Florida sucks to build on.
So they built the first floor above ground, and it's like a basement tunnel system. And then the second floor up, which is like kind of at ground level, is
the park.
Is the like street of Disneyland, which is pretty crazy.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Denver Airport also has tunnels underneath it, but they are from a failed automatic baggage system that was allegedly abandoned in 2008. Though some people think that's just a cover for an intricate set of tunnels for the New World Order operatives to travel from the airport miles deep into the surrounding mountains, even without lots of evidence.
Is this where like National Treasure is going to take place, the new one? What are they going to steal out of it?
It's actually
what would you steal? Like,
not a bad place to set it, to be honest. It's like
right?
The Denver airport is like a
his
perfect
frozen
setting.
head is in there. That's what they got to go steal.
Walt Disney's frozen head?
Yes.
That's a good movie.
His memory like holds the secrets to like the what's the Bohemian Grove where they like decided how to take over the world. Did we just write the movie?
And they slap his head on one of those Wild Wild West look at the past kind of things. But all you see is evil Mickey Mouse.
It's great because Disney owns National Treasure, so that could definitely happen.
And do they own Wild Wild West now too? Because that'd be great.
They own everything.
All right, number 2. Richard Nixon gave his famous "I'm not a crook" speech here. Is that the Denver Airport? Is that Denver Airport or is that Walt Disney World Resort?
Look, as much as I want it to be Disney World, I'm going to say airport.
Yeah, it's airport. I can't even for fun go the other side on this one.
You're both wrong. It's the Walt Disney World Resort. It is at Disney World. Here's the full quote, which was given at the Contemporary Resort Hotel at Walt Disney World, which is actually an extremely neat looking building at the Disney World Resort, which you can look at online. It's still there. He gave the speech at Walt Disney World in 1973. And I'm going to give you the full quote from Mathis to read here, just in case you've never heard it. By the way, this guy resigned at the very thought of being impeached once. Go figure. Here you go.
I have earned every cent, and in all of my years of public life, I have never obstructed justice. And I think, too, that I could say that in my years of public life that I welcome this kind of examination because people have got to know whether or not their president is a crook. Well, I am not a crook. I have earned everything I have got.
He resigned about 1 year after that. Okay, so you guys both got that one wrong. So Jesse's still in the lead with 1. Next one is number 3. While in the process of building it, the local mayor brokered a deal with citizens to annex over 50 square miles of land to build on. Denver Airport or the Walt Disney World Resort?
Going back to Denver, baby.
I'll go to Disney World.
Disney World, Denver.
I truly don't know because I feel like it could be any. But
right, that's the game, baby. The answer is the Denver Airport. Jesse gets another point. In 1983, Mayor Pena campaigned on a plan to expand Stapleton International Airport, Denver's tiny, noisy, congested airport in the northeast corner of the city, across I-70 to the north on the Rocky Mountain Arsenal. The plan won the support of most municipalities in the metro area, with some glaring exceptions. Leaders in Adams County hated the idea of an even larger airport raining noise on their constituents. They vowed that they were going to sue us forever, Pena recalled. Pena eventually met some of those leaders for dinner and heard their concerns. They began crafting an ambitious plan. Denver would seek to annex land in Adams County to build a new airport away from established neighborhoods, and in return, that county's elected leaders would campaign hard for the plan in their communities. Ultimately, only Adams County voters could greenlight the annexation. So what do you think? Birth of the Illuminati stronghold, or
yes,
or just the beginning of building an airport? By the way, that was a quote from the Denver Post, from the Denver Airport, Denver International Airport at 25, from boondoggle to boon. Great name for that article. But that's number 4. Jesse's in the lead, 2 points to null. Number 4. John Lennon legally broke up the Beatles here. Walt Disney World Resort or the Denver Airport? John Lennon legally signed the documents.
I don't
that
know
broke
this answer
up
at
the Beatles.
all, bro.
I
At all.
desperately
Beatles
want
Cease
it to
to
be
exist.
Disney. So I'm going to say Disney.
I wanted to go airport because I don't know if I could see John Lennon at Disney.
Okay.
Don't-
Enjoying it. He's such
You
a
broke up
yeah,
the Beatles at
maybe,
Disney.
but maybe he probably did. He probably did. I'm going
you're-
airport.
Okay, you're going airport, you're going Disney?
Hell yeah.
It was Disney.
All right.
Jesse's
Everything
got three.
happens at Disney.
Yeah.
Here's a quote about it for Jesse to read. Pretty interesting.
John Julian and I. Oh, wait. John Julian and I. Wait, is this Yoko who's
No,
saying this?
this is May Pang saying this.
Oh, all right. John Julian and I, May Peng, left New York the following day to spend Christmas in Florida. On December 29th, 1974, the voluminous documents were brought down to John in Florida by one of Apple's lawyers. He finally picked up his pen and, in the unlikely backdrop of the Polynesian Village Hotel at Disney
I stayed
World.
there when I was 13.
I did too. I did when I was like 9 or 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys
Ended
met at that
greatest
hotel.
rock band in history by simply scrolling John Lennon at the bottom of the page.
Yeah.
And May Pang was John Lennon and Yoko Ono's like assistant for a very long time. And she worked at Apple, which is not Apple Computers, but Apple, the Beatles recording company. So yeah, Jesse's in the lead with 3.
Killing it.
We're on to number 5. The bathrooms here have a fan club, and social media associates them with a specific smell. Denver Airport or the Walt Disney World Resort?
Oh, 100%.
go
I'm
airport.
saying Denver.
I want to go airport too.
Yeah.
The answer is the Denver Airport. Mathis
Hell
is
yeah.
on the board,
at least.
and Jesse has 4 points. Apparently, this scent is called black bamboo, and it's a mix of green bay leaf, balsam, juniper berry, warm musk, and amber woods. How do you say balsam? Balsam? Balsam?
Balsam?
Balsam, yeah.
But here's a quote about it for Mathis to read from a Redditor about this cherished smell.
One
From a
Redditor's
Redditor.
count. I know that sounds weird, but it's one of those scents that sticks with you. Not the typical bathroom air freshener smell. Maybe because it's always the smell of home after a long day of traveling. I don't know if I ever want to associate the Denver airport bathroom smell with home.
I like the Denver Airport. It's nice. I don't know.
Never
It's
been.
nice. Also, speaking of secret societies hiding in plain sight, I'm sure I've talked about them a little bit on the show before, like 322 episodes ago or something. But I'd really love it if Jesse did an episode on the Order of Skull and Bones. My pitch is we're going to each read a quote about them, and then you're going to tell me if it's worth doing. So first, for Jesse, a quote from noted rich, politically minded person Lanny Davis, who wrote this in his 1968 Yale yearbook talking about the membership qualifications of Skull and Bones.
In it. Like,
Let
they
this-
got to let me in.
Let this convince
will
you.
they send someone to kill me, dude? I don't want that.
Let this tantalize you with its insanity.
If the society had a good year, this is what the ideal group will consist of. A football captain, a chairman of the Yale Daily News, a conspicuous radical, a whiffin' poof.
A whiff and poof. What the fuck is a whiff and poof?
No idea.
Dude, you don't even want to know. A swimming captain, a notorious drunk with a 94 average, a filmmaker, a political columnist, a religious group leader, a chairman of the Lit,
Yo.
a foreigner, a ladies' man with 2 motorcycles, an ex-serviceman, a Negro, if there are enough to go around.
Good Lord. Yeah.
A guy nobody else in the group ever heard of, ever.
That'd be me.
Yeah. So that's
I'd walk in.
what,
Hey.
and a whiff and poof, by the way, is the storied oldest a cappella group ever. It's Yale's a cappella group, and that's where Skull and
Wow.
Bones is. And here's a quote from Mathis about the Skull and Bones.
This is like a most random, eclectic group of people in the
They're
world.
like, get into every aspect of society. Somebody who's influential in every area. Okay, here's Mathis's quote from Tom Wolfe, the novelist.
At Yale, the students on the outside wondered for 80 years what went on inside the fabled secret senior societies, such as the Skull and Bones. On Thursday nights, one would see the secret society members walking silently in single file in black flannel suits, white shirts, and black knit ties with gold pins on them. Toward their great Greek revival temples on the campus, buildings whose mystery was doubled by the fact that they had no windows.
Yep. And then finally, I'm going to read a quote from President George W. Bush's autobiography.
You want to fascinate the general public? Just have a uniform.
Yep.
Go somewhere they all know you go, but never ever talk about what you do, and that's it. Even if you're just doing a LAN party every week, they'll think you're working on mystical shit.
Let's do that. Here's George Bush's quote. In my senior year, I joined Skull and Bones, secret society, so secret, I can't say anything more. Yeah, so that's the Skull and Bones. That's my pitch. You don't have to say yes, but that's my pitch. And Jesse, since you won that one, you're pulling ahead in the total. It's 2-1. Jesse's in the lead. And we're on to number 4, which was Head, which is all about dreams.
Right. We had Pat on this one.
So the game today that we're going to be playing. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, please, come on, visuals. This is what the people pay on Patreon for, if not these visuals.
All right.
Incredible.
Little dog, the fan, it's popping. All right. Dreams. The game we're playing today is a version of Family Feud, kind of, where we're going to guess the most. The list that you guys are going to be playing off of is the most dreamed topics in America. Like the top 10 most dreamed, like the most Googled dreams in America. And you're going to get the number of points that they are in ranks. So there's going to be 10. So the number 1 item is going to be worth 10 points. Does that make sense?
Is this like Family Feud?
Yeah. Someone, you're going to have to pick who goes first for this. Yeah. That could change it all.
Yeah. So you get score based on your rank, on the ranking of the item. 3 misses and you're out, and you switch every time you miss. Jesse, your letter comes first in the alphabet.
Cool.
So damn it. So you have to guess first, and if you miss, it's Mathis's turn.
All right, so we're just guessing dream type. Yes,
that people Google the most.
Yeah, like a topic, like a Google. I'll like judge it and give it to you the same way Family Feud would. I'm
going to say teeth or teeth falling out.
Teeth falling out is the number 1 answer for 10.
Wow, I figured that'd be on the list, but number 1 would not have been my guess.
Yeah,
for Americans, absolutely. That's the number 1.
Number 1.
I don't know why specifically America, but it's a big one for us.
Yeah, big one. And not the number 1 in the world, but close. Number 2 on the list is number 1 in the world. That's a little
interesting.
Trivia. But that doesn't matter. Just giving you a little thing. Jesse, you didn't miss. So what's your next guess?
Again.
I'm going to say falling.
Falling is not on the list, so that's 1 miss for Jesse.
Really?
Yeah, falling's not on the list in America. Pretty good guess though, I would say. Not a Steve Harvey meltdown worthy guess. Mathis, what do you think?
I was going to go flying.
Flying. Flying. So I have a problem with flying. And I'm going to let you guys judge this together. You guys have to come to a decision because you're going to be the judges together.
Okay.
Number 8 on the list is flies. Do you think flies means bugs?
Like bug?
Or do you think flies means the person flies?
I would say flying is flying. Flies sounds like bugs.
That's what I was going to say, even to my own detriment.
Okay.
Like, if I'm going to Google flying dream, I'm not going to go flies, and that's it.
Okay.
So number 8 is flies, though.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you a miss, but I'm also going to give you the points.
I'll
take it, but it goes to Jesse.
It's 3 points, but it's to Jesse.
This is can I do the general idea of being late for class, late for work?
Lateness?
Yeah.
Lateness is not on the list. Second miss.
Wow, surprising. I still have like nightmare server dreams, and I've been detached from that job for like 15 years.
That's one of the few nightmares I have is being late to something.
I missed my thing is like my biggest dream.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Matt, this hits back to you.
What about like talking to a dead relative or like ghosts? Just kind of like
good.
Maybe,
okay, a dead relative.
What I call death, like death or I don't know. I don't know how general we want to get, but
okay, a dead relative.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say because I don't want to give up another one of the answers that it's not on the list.
Okay.
Dead relative is not on the list, though. I'll tell you what I'm talking about at the end of this.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a but it's back to Jesse.
Back to me?
Yeah.
Oh, brother.
How many does Jesse have wrong? 1 or 2?
Jesse has 2 wrong. Yeah.
Okay.
So if he gets it wrong, you can go till you're wrong.
Yeah, if I get it right at all. Got it.
You already said flies, so I'm not going to say creepy bugs. Running from someone or being chased by someone.
Okay, yeah.
That's
being
a good
chased
one.
is number 5 on the list.
That's a really
5
good
points
one.
to Jesse.
What the hell is the biggest one?
That's
Number
what
2 is
I-
driving me crazy. I have no idea what that's going to be.
You got to remember that it's global.
Yeah, that doesn't.
It does. It's
Doesn't really help.
It rules out a lot of things
Okay.
if you think about it.
Rules out a lot of things.
For it to be global. Okay.
Does it have to be? Are these nightmares or just general dreams?
Just dreams in general.
Could it be finding success or wealth?
It could be, but it's not. That's an
Damn.
Jesse's final score is 15. Mathis, you currently have 3
I was going to
points.
say, I have had dreams where I've won the lottery before and then
That's
woken
what
up
I'm saying.
extremely bummed. Yeah.
I'm bummed out. I don't know what 2 is. I can't figure it out.
I'm just going to go off the deep end. How about like fucking sex dreams?
Sex
Yeah?
dreams. Sex is on the list.
Let's go.
It is the number 9 answer, which gets
Lower
you
than I thought it would be.
gets you 2 points.
All right. Let's go way away.
You still have 10 points left to make 15.
Fuck. What about, because like you see, it seemed like I was in the right area with like ghosts. What about just like dreaming of dying,
It's good.
Dying.
being killed, murdered?
This
that
is
kind
your
of thing.
this is your last one. Do you
I
want
know it's my last
commit? Do you
guess,
want to
but-
commit to dying?
I guess not. I guess no.
mean,
but I don't know.
it's up to
where
you.
the fuck else? Like,
Dude, I have no answers for you.
Go.
I don't-
Like that's where I'm like, I don't know. Getting like I don't know. Yeah. Let's just stick with death. Death. Being killed, murder. You know that kind
Death
of shit.
was
Yeah.
straight up an
Okay. yeah.
So that's
Got it.
5 to 15. Jesse takes the point.
I'm so
but now
curious what the
let's hear
list
about
is.
this. Yeah. So number 10 is bears.
Okay. I don't really have ever had a dream about a bear. Ever.
Bears,
Number
dude?
10, it's 10 is bears, 9 is sex, 8 is flies, 7 is your wedding,
Okay.
6 is being chased,
Yep.
5 is vacation,
Really?
4 is
We live a
spiders.
kind of privileged life in that regard, I guess.
Yeah, 4 is spiders.
Spiders.
Ah.
3
I should have said bugs.
3 is the one that I was going to maybe give you for dead relatives. 3 is exes.
Bro, I was gonna say exes, but I was like sex dream. I don't know. I don't want to go like maybe it's like kind of the same topic.
Exes. Number 2, the number one in the world, because we already know number 1 is in America is your teeth falling out.
Yeah.
Number
What is the
2 in
worldwide
America, number 1 in the world, snakes.
Man, a lot of animals.
Snakes. Yeah.
The ultimate,
Never dreamed of snakes.
the ultimate
but that's fair. It's
monkey fear.
worldwide.
the ultimate monkey
yeah.
fear, snakes. So
America's just really afraid of nature.
to give you a little update on current events involving dreams and the things we covered, the This Man hoax that we were talking about last
Yes.
time that inspired that movie with Nicolas Cage, Dream Scenario, if you remember, was like a hoax made by this like Italian artist marketing person. And here is a movie, a J horror movie that is called This Man, that is like basically Freddy Krueger, except the guy is like a Japanese guy who is in like prosthetics to look like the guy from This Man, the
Stop.
viral campaign.
Oh man.
Just go ahead and check out this review, and I'll also give you the trailer for this, which is actually hard for me to find because it wasn't in English. But you guys can check it out and give the audience a play-by-play for a second.
Oh god. Oh god.
You can see his face.
I hate that. He looks.
There's like a scary picture of his face. If you go in the like
Gallery?
Yeah, the gallery. You can't really see the stuff. But if you scroll a little bit further down,
Yeah, just
to
scroll a
this
little
man
down
doesn't
into
have a believable villain.
Yeah, dude, that's awful. I hate that shit.
I hate
so
that
much.
I was going through the gallery and it was like, oh, this seems like a well-shot movie. And then when you get to this man, it's the goofiest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it has apparently it like has a really, really like indelicate message about mental health that like doesn't really like hit and is kind of like insulting to people with mental illness. And this review says that the villain looks too funny. The movie revolves around mental illness, but makes no nuanced or honest commentary. And it has no sense of tone, so nobody feels afraid while they're watching the movie. Gave it 4 out of 10. Pretty crazy.
Sure.
This is a J-horror movie called This Man, and the trailer is here if you want to.
Yeah, I scrubbed through the trailer a little bit. It's,
I don't know.
It's wild.
Up to you, but good Lord, and it's out there, and he's going to get you. That's round 4. Round 5. Ready? It's time to return to the last place I just was with the Zodiac Killer, number 5. Hello,
Yay!
the Zodiac. Yay!
Yay!
Okay, so for this one, what I need you guys to do is to put your hands in frame of the camera so that I can see your hands. Okay?
Okay. Hands up.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can see their hands. You guys.
And so can you if you're at patreon.com.
Yeah, your goal for this round is to use Google or whatever other method you want to be the first one who can tell me the name of the 2 filmmakers who are about to put a largely disproven but extremely popular suspect, Arthur Lee Allen, back in the spotlight of the Zodiac case. Do you have any questions before we begin? Keep your hands on screen.
You want us to
Just
Google
to name
this?
the actors?
Yeah, I want you to find
the
the 2
directors?
filmmakers who are about to put Arthur Lee Allen back into the spotlight. Okay?
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions before we start?
No.
3,
No.
2, 1, go. First person to do it, just yell it out.
I'm so confused. Okay.
Just got to figure it out. Got to figure out why he's going to be in the spotlight, what's happening in the Zodiac case, and then find out the names of these 2 assholes. They're not assholes. I'm just so tired of Arthur Lee Allen.
It's new, like it's not out yet.
I'm not going to say. It's up to you to figure it out. Arthur Lee Allen is coming back in the spotlight. Use that Google. You could see these guys are really, really dedicated to this right now. Jesse may be hampered by hotel internet. We don't know.
I'm not hampered, but in the UK, they make you check every website you go to. They do a thing that's like, hey, do you want cookies here? So it's really screwing everything up.
The EU, literally, not even the EU, just like UK Brexit laws in the way.
I'm struggling over here.
We're looking for the
2 filmmakers.
people involved. Oh, come on.
Ari Mark, Phil Lott.
That's it. Ari Mark and
Is
Phil Lott.
this in relation to starting in October, the show This is the Zodiac
This is the Zodiac speaking.
That's right.
Exactly it. Yep.
Well, yeah.
found it at the same time?
I went to go look at it, and it sent me to Netflix instead of information.
Isn't that insidious?
So funny.
That's why the reason I came up with this game was because I was trying to figure out who was the director and I couldn't do it easily. And then it took me like 5 minutes to figure it out. Anyway, Mathis, you get the point for that one. This new documentary comes out October 23rd and it's about Arthur Lee Allen mostly, it seems like. So we'll see if there's any new information that comes to light that blows my mind and upends my plans that I have for everything until the end of the year. But in the meantime, don't you think it's worth asking if anyone ever considered that the idea of the Zodiac Killer might just be a giant hoax?
What?
Yeah, that's right. There is currently, from last year, a documentary on Peacock that is relatively new called Myth of the Zodiac Killer. Is the Zodiac Killer a hoax? Is the question that it asks. And what I mean by that is, what if all these murders are actually just all their own murders with all their own suspects? And what if it's just a handful of unrelated crimes that took advantage of this larger-than-life villain in the cultural zeitgeist, and the rest is just hoaxes? Is the theory, according to Professor Thomas Horan, an English professor who every Zodiac expert hates, and whom documentary filmmaker Andrew Knock brings to the center of this 2-part series without even ever fully really committing to his kind of like honestly wacky story.
Huh.
So I watched this morning. First thing that I did this morning when I woke up with my coffee is I sat down and cover to cover housed 2 hours of this weird myth of Zodiac so that you don't have to. And I'm going to give you the rundown and I'm going to quickly retort it. Okay? So first we're going to start with Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday, the first two people that were attacked. He says they were attacked by two people because a single shell on the other side of the killer's car implies that a second person got out of the passenger door, stood up, turned around, put his hand over the top of the car and fired his gun so that the shell flew backwards and landed on the other side of the car, which proves that this killer wasn't a lone serial killer, which proves that he wasn't the Zodiac killer. He says that it was a retaliatory murder for a guy that David Faraday stood up to at the Pancake House earlier that week for selling drugs at the height of a biker-related drug violence wave. This guy argues that the cops did not properly investigate the gangs because they didn't understand what they were. And that it was very clear to him, at least, that this guy went down because of the gangs. No real evidence to support this, just some guy heard about some crimes and he put two and two together. But David Faraday did confront someone. Though even in this, other Zodiac experts are like, at the time, it would not be crazy to confront someone about selling drugs because the status quo and the vibe of like everything being chill was very important to people back then. And pointing out things in society that are weird and lecturing people and stuff like that, like boomers do today, originated in the 60s when they were young and they were doing it in high school. So that's not that crazy of a thing. It wouldn't be something that a stranger would hunt you down and kill you over. So that's kind of weird. Then we go on to Darlene Ferrin and Mike Mageau, which is the murder, that's depicted at the beginning of the movie Zodiac, where Darlene is killed and Mike lives and he's sitting on the ground gurgling out of his throat and stuff. It's the first one that most experts assume for sure was a Zodiac killing. This is the one where the three teens find him. Zodiac calls it himself on the payphone. He says, "Goodbye." You remember that one? The guy says it was a personal crime from someone who knew and was mad at Darlene, and that Mike wasn't interested in romance, according to some of Darlene's friends and Darlene's current husband at that time, Dean Ferrin, that he interviewed, and that it was maybe Darlene's ex-husband, Jim Crabtree, who she was with before Dean Ferrin and who didn't love the way things ended, even though there was no evidence he was in town. They did go interview him. He corroborated with a story about being seen while on acid in the woods by a judge, but there's no record of that apparently, though there is something in the police report that does put him there in the woods. That's not that. The dude acted really weird and is like a total hippie weirdo guy who lives in the woods. But there wasn't like any evidence or anything to believe he was involved, but he said some like weird incendiary shit, kind of like how Arthur Lee Allen used to do, where he'd like imply things that like kind of implicated him in the murder too.
Yeah. So that was a huge problem.
So it was like almost like they knew he was going to do that and act crazy, and they like went and interviewed him, and it felt really weird. So that was that one. As far as Lake Berryessa, they talked to one of the witnesses for the first time on camera, one of the girls who saw Zodiac in the park that day, to build the case that the guy at the lake looks different from the famous sketch from San Francisco, because there's two sketches and they don't look that similar. But the still living cop that they got who worked on the case, like they were trying to get him to say that the things don't match and that it's two guys. But the guy was like, I still think it's one killer, but I think it looks like my guy. So it's not even the evidence that they thought it was, that they were acting like it was. He didn't say there were two separate killers. He said it was one killer, but it just looked like his guy. And Haran says it was a copycat crime with details inconsistent to the other ones. But as we tracked through his like sort of growth as a folk hero kind of guy who was trying to impress everybody, he wasn't committing to a modus operandi like a serial killer. He was trying to do better PR each killing. Haran tries to shed suspicion on police officer Dennis Land for this one. But any other expert in the show is like, don't trust Haran. He's a liar. He makes shit up all the time. So it's like hard to trust him. It's like weird. It feels like they figured out this guy was like a crank like halfway through, but they didn't want to like eat the budget. So they just like kind of put in shit discrediting him as they went and just let him talk and like edited it together. It's a super weird documentary that you should not watch. They also used AI to analyze the letters to see if there's multiple authors. But even the experts running the AI test said it's not a reliable test. And to even get the results close to how they wanted, they had to edit the text of the letters. And they said the model detected a subtle change after the first 4 letters before the Paul Stein murder and the 28 after. Which some people do think that only the first couple Zodiac letters are real. That's a real thing. So I don't know. Maybe that's that. They also point out that the Paul Stein murder had inconsistent methods, a much further location from the others. But like we saw, this was him going to Hollywood and going to the big leagues and trying to murder somebody in a rich neighborhood in San Francisco. So it makes sense why he did that. It's hard to ignore the Zodiac letter with the bloody piece of shirt, though, which is just kills this guy's theory. And so what he says happened instead is that the killer did take a piece of the shirt, the Zodiac killer, whoever wrote the letter did, but that the person who killed the cabbie took the section of shirt, but that whoever wrote the letters is somebody different who went to the crime lab and took more of the shirt just to write the letters. Cops are like, there is no way that happened. There is no evidence that anything ever happened. But Horan is like, well, there's corrupt cops and evidence tampering in the newspaper from the time. So you tell me. But I'm like, bro, I spent 2 months on this case just reading shit. And that's like the dumbest shit I've ever heard. It's always good to let facts change, even well-established premises. And
let new evidence. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. As you're building a case, but confirmation bias is still confirmation bias. Also and sometimes true. You just have to read the writing on the wall. You have to give up. You have to let it be different. And that's the game show. But before we get into the winning ceremony, I have an actual, real, not a bit Greenstone update. Because that's where I was going to end today. But I also want to give you guys a quick update because at 5:30 this morning, today, the day that we were recording this, I already wrote the joke that I made about the redstone at the top of this before I knew about this. I added this morning. Total coincidence. But Graham Phillips, the guy who did the Greenstone, a favorite beloved character on this pod, had an 18-minute live stream today this morning that I watched on YouTube because he had an update about Biddulph Grange, which you'll remember from the episodes I did on the Greenstone. It's like that weird, like quasi-Egyptian mystical garden place in England, in Staffordshire, like the Staffordshire Peat, whatever it's called. I forget what it's called. Anyway, he's a sweet older guy these days, Graham Phillips. And after taking extra special care to make sure he wasn't muted, he proceeded to name drop literally every book in a row that I've ever cited in relation to his story. The Greenstone, The Seventh Sword, even a book I feel like sometimes he downplays the existence of, aka The Eye of Fire. So at this point, I'm 1 minute in, I'm alert. And if you must know, yes, I was smoking weed and I was drinking coffee, but that is normal for me. And I can be confident I was in my absolute right mind as I watched this. Anyway,
God, I hope you're about to tell me he was like, and I'd like to cite Alex Faciane as
I fucking wish. Biddulph Grange, I still don't think he knows about us, and I'd like to keep it that way if you don't mind, listeners. Anyway, Biddulph Grange is that weird quasi-Egyptian mystical garden that I said. It's a setting in a lot of the stories. We return to it from time to time in the Greenstone saga. I know it's at least a real place because there's lots of pictures of it. It has a presence online. Here is its Apple Maps link if you want to see it. But according to Graham, you can look at pictures of it there and stuff. But according to Graham, it also has some mystical significance and is deeply entwined with events relating to the fate of all existence across multiple planes and worlds. Listen to the episodes if you need to know more about that. But according to Graham, originally it was a megalithic stone circle complex kind of thing, like a Stonehenge kind of place. And he seems to know a lot about that kind of stuff. He talks a lot about Stonehenge, a lot of other stone circles. He explains that the henges have to do with the ditches that are like dug around the complexes, and that's what the henges are, I think, if I understood correctly what he said. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I
thought it was Merlin who brought the stones over.
Probably. Yeah. You're probably right. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. He also talks about how stone circles commonly have artificial man-made hills nearby a lot of the time, like commonly just like for some reason, maybe to be able to see people from far off or to put fire on top of, to like put a beacon and be like, come, this is where the rocks are at or whatever. But nobody really knows why. And anyway, according to Graham, more possible activity relating to Biddulph Grange being one of these sites seems to have happened recently, like on Saturday. And he mentions that in the surrounding area, there's already lots of burial chambers and smaller stone circle sites and things in that sort of zone. And in the 70s at Biddulph Grange, there was an artificial mound on the grounds that dated back to Stonehenge times, which is like 2500 BC. And that certain artifacts were recovered, suggesting something similar to that was likely in the area too, possibly where Biddulph Grange is today. But then after those people were here, the Celts came into the area, took it over around 1000 BC, had a burial mound and a sacred spring well there with a straight line through this like artificial cave. There's like a megalithic thing. There's like a straight line between it and another stone circle and burial chamber. And you can like see the sun straight through it, kind of that kind of deal. Cause it's like, you know, built kind of like how Stonehenge was built, like in harmony with the planets. And then Christian churches came. And according to Graham in 1119 AD, what do they call it now? AC? After
no
Earth.
Idea.
Titan
After
AE.
Earth? That was a great movie, right?
AE, Titan AE, yes.
Yeah,
Titan AE.
1119 Titan AE. When the Knights Templar made their first base outside the Middle East, apparently that base was at Biddulph Grange, and the chapel they built there was right next to the artificial cave that I was talking about. And it's perfectly aligned with the sun as it sets, and then at the perfect time it shines straight through. And it eventually became the Springwood Priory and remained there until the 19th century, when a wall or two of it, as it was collapsing, was built into a barn that's still there, where they store equipment, and at the Biddulph Grange. And around this time, the mansions and the grounds that are there now are also built. And according to Graham, these are built by the Order of Mianaya, who we talked about extensively in the Greenstone, the little group that they're a part of. But according to Graham, now, in a kind of big change from how he described them in the book, they are now an all-women group of artists and mystics fighting for women's rights all across England.
Oh, yeah.
So that must be in the DLC. And there's lots of weird occult symbolism and underground temples in this thing, in Roman, Chinese, Celtic, and Egyptian temples. There's different temples with different cultures, mysticism inside them. The Celtic Glen, for example, was built in place of that artificial mound that was found there earlier in the 70s. And the others were similarly built in magically powerful spots, which brings us to Saturday. While Graham was taking some people around the grounds and showing them these things, despite a possibility of rain mentioned earlier in the day, like a sprinkle, the weather was really good. And he had 50 people with him doing this tour, because I guess he does these tours. And which I would love to do, by the way. They were loving his stories. The vibes were good. And so to cap off the tour, on the spur of the moment decision, he decided to go straight up that line, straight up to the cave aligned with the sun. And halfway up, he starts hearing thunderstorm clouds happening. And then at the top, when he gets to the cave, there's a freak storm roaring. And the lightning was weird and yellow, and it scared the shit out of him. And the weatherman on the TV had no idea it was going to happen. And it bugged him out that it was centered around them at Biddulph Grange. And by the time they got back to his car, it was raining cats and dogs like he never could have imagined. It was crazy. And he thinks it was an ancient storm summoning rite that he performed by accident. He's not sure if it was
hate
Celtic.
when I do that.
I know. He's not sure if it was Celtic or Chinese or Egyptian or Roman, but he hoped maybe somebody out there would know, and he just wanted to let everyone know that it happened and that it was cool and that he filmed it. But that video might be coming out later, so there's no footage to show now. But he's got to put it together with some other people's footage first, so he'll get that to us as soon as possible. He hoped something interesting was captured that maybe wasn't seeable by the naked eye, and that is...
I'm glad he's still able to pull off rituals, though. Good for him.
That is the update. So, anyway...
That's amazing.
Anyway, thank you. I'm glad you guys joined me for that one. I'm glad you guys stuck with me through the Greenstone update. But just a reminder, the last 3 episodes in the sequence, 8H, just the code words. I'm not going to give you the topics. You can figure those out for yourself. Number 6 is huge. Number 7 is him again. And number 8 is hero. That's going to be a big one. That's going to be a big one. Also,
Big boy.
Jesse, for your performance in Game Show 8H, you get the grand prize of my top secret family recipe for jambalaya.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, because genuinely, more than anything, I really just love tossing a bunch of shit together and making something delicious. So
It's true.
from me to you, congratulations. You can tell everybody, you don't say the recipe, but you can confirm that you have received the recipe.
Question.
Yeah.
Mathis.
Mm-hmm.
Because you were so about revealing secret truths,
Yeah.
should I publish this on Reddit?
Don't do that. Don't publish my family jambalaya recipe. That's your prize.
Like a real secret society, you put it behind a paywall.
Oh, no, I don't want to make that promise because then that's selling out. I want to do it like I'm disclosing secret information. I'm going to create a fake Reddit account and be like, I discovered secret jambalaya.
You have
then
to
I'll put
make-
a UFO image.
You have to make them work for it if you do it. You have to, as per my wishes, you have to do that using a puzzle, like a puzzle treasure hunt. That's really it. That's really my uncle's secret family jambalaya recipe.
Delicious.
Enjoy it. It's better than your family's jambalaya recipe.
Where did you send this to?
I just texted it to you. Also, I promised a clue if you won.
He really did. He really did.
Yeah, that's right.
You have to make it for me, but I'll never know how.
Yeah, exactly. I promise you a clue if you won. And the clue is that if you were paying attention, this whole episode is a clue. So that's your clue. If you were paying attention, this whole episode is a clue.
Oh, God.
And don't forget, Zodiac revealed, a.k.a. the payoff you always wanted that never was, available right now in this week's minisode at patreon.com/ChilluminatiPod, which we're going to record right after this. Mathis, I'm ceding my time, the rest of my time to you.
Thank you all so much for listening. We are off to do that minisode, as he so said. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. We appreciate you. We love you.
The truth is out there, folks.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Anyway, me and my wife were sitting outside indulging on our porch one night, enjoying ourselves. I needed to go to the bathroom, so I stepped back inside, and after a few moments, I hear my wife go, "Holy shit, get out here." So I quickly dash back outside, and she's looking up at the sky in awe. I look up too, and there's a perfect line of dozen lights traveling across the sky.